Width alone will never build a massive back. When you look at a truly powerful physique, the eye is drawn right here, the thick ridges connecting the neck down to the shoulders. Without them, the upper body looks completely empty. Building that thickness requires an understanding of how the muscle actually moves, rather than mindlessly shrugging a heavy barbell until your neck hurts. The trapezius operates as three distinct regions: the upper, middle, and lower traps. Most lifters focus entirely on the top because it is the only part they can easily see in the mirror. However, the middle and lower traps are responsible for scapular stability, keeping your shoulder blades anchored and moving correctly during every pull you perform. When these deeper regions are weak, your shoulder blades lose that stable anchor. This mechanical instability is a primary driver of shoulder impingement, meaning that neglecting the middle and lower traps will eventually make your shoulder joints the absolute point of failure. To properly overload the upper traps, we start with the above-the-knee rack pull. EMG analysis shows that during a conventional deadlift, upper trap activity remains remarkably low off the floor. The maximum muscle activation hits the exact moment the bar crosses the knee and you move into the lockout. By removing the bottom half of the lift, you isolate that peak activation zone. You can subject the upper traps to extreme heavy weight without burning out your legs and lower back in the process. A 2011 study from the University of Kentucky confirmed that upper trap engagement scales directly with the load. The heavier the weight you pull, the harder the traps work. Limiting the range of motion lets you aggressively overload the upper traps safely. You get maximum growth stimulus while preserving your physical ability to recover for your next session. Next is the barbell shrug. Extensive EMG studies from 2008 and 2010 analyzed dozens of shoulder exercises, and both concluded that the shrug consistently elicits the highest upper trap activation of any isolation movement. Despite its effectiveness, most lifters use a standard shoulder-width grip that ignores the actual orientation of the muscle fibers. Gripping shoulder width creates a vertical line of pull, clashing with the upper trap fibers, shifting resistance into the levator scapulae. Widening your hands mirrors the diagonal path of the upper traps. You need one more mechanical adjustment. At the top of the movement, actively squeeze your shoulder blades together. The traps are designed to elevate the scapula, but they also function to retract it. Hitting that secondary retraction function guarantees a full contraction. Executing this movement with a wider grip and a deliberate squeeze, even with lighter weight, will stimulate far more upper trap growth than shrugging a massive load with a narrow grip. To hit the frequently ignored mid-traps, we transition to the prone reverse fly, performed with an external rotation so your thumbs point directly up toward the ceiling. This specific arm angle aligns precisely with the anatomy of the mid-back, driving the tension cleanly across the horizontal muscle fibers. The biggest mistake lifters make here is letting the shoulders shrug up toward the ears during the lift. That instantly shifts the workload right back to the upper traps and ruins the isolation. Moving to the bottom of the muscle group, a 2003 EMG study by Ekstrom and colleagues identified prone Ys as the peak movement for lower trap activation. Raising your arms overhead to form a Y shape matches the downward diagonal slant of the lower trap fibers. Begin this movement flat on a bench with zero weight to master the contraction. Once you build up strength, progress by kneeling between a dual cable machine to provide constant resistance. Activating the mid and lower back is a strict test of discipline. It requires precise arm angles and absolute control. Drop the momentum, forget the ego, and focus entirely on creating stability. To address each region of the trapezius based on its fiber orientation, you should integrate these four movements: heavy rack pulls, wide grip shrugs, thumbs up prone flies, and prone Ys. If your traps are lagging significantly behind the rest of your physique, you can run these four movements as a dedicated specialization workout for a few months. A more balanced approach is to pull one or two of these specific exercises and plug them directly into your existing back or shoulder days. Manage your overall volume carefully. Heavy compound pulls like the standard deadlift already hammer the traps, and adding too much isolation on top of that can lead to overtraining. Overdeveloped traps stacked on top of a thin back will ruin the aesthetic of your physique. Your trap training needs to operate in sync with your total back programming. Building a powerful, injury-free body means leaving guesswork at the door and relying on evidence-based mechanics. If you're ready for a complete program that outlines how to do this for every muscle group,